Hello and welcome to the Black Cat Intuitive. This is an intuitive reading on the Dogman. It's been a subject that I've been thinking about a lot, so I'm going to do a reading on it, just probing various questions that come to mind on this fascinating subject. All right, let us get started. All right, so Dogman. What is Dogman? And so I'm going to ask, the first question is, where is Dogman from? So I'm already getting that it's 6 from the bottom. One of the cards, 6 from the bottom. So 4 of Pentacles. Where is Dogman from? Okay, and I got the 4 of Pentacles, and I got it's from a very tightly controlled environment, because I was like, is this something that wants something? Because you see this 4 of Pentacles, it's being controlled, right? Something is being controlled. So a very tightly controlled environment. That is where the Dogman is from. Now let's see what else. And King of Cups, and I'm hearing from that is a lot of manipulation. A lot of manipulation. So that kind of goes with the theory that it's a, genetic experiment. But I'm hearing there is so much more to the Dogman than this. And it is a very significant experiment in terms of what it does. Because it's mixing together like different, I'm hearing 3, not just because I was thinking a human and a dog, but it's mixing together various different, I'm hearing there's a 3rd element too. And I'm hearing there's 4 different permutations of the Dogman, and they are very different. There's one that is very violent, one that is very secretive and very avoidant. So there was one that's very violent and aggressive, one that's secretive and avoidant, one that is humorous and it's more human, like it's more 80% more human, I'm hearing, and one that is kind of an element of all of these things. So it's very much. So I'm going to ask, is the next question I'm going to ask is like, well, that's one of the biggest theories people have of Dogman. It's an experiment. So I'm going to ask that question: is the Dogman an experiment? Give. I'm hearing. So that feels like a yes to me. The word is it. Yes, it feels like an experiment, but I'm hearing it's so much more, because woman, so much more give and woman. So that's a giving birth. That's giving birth. So I'm hearing that the Dogman, yes, it is an experiment, but it's been an experiment that's been going on, not just in recent time, a long time. And the Dogman would like to be considered itself as a species. It does not like to think of itself generally. Then there's different subtypes of the Dogman, but it doesn't like to think of itself as merely as an experiment, because, interesting, and this is what I'm hearing right now, is that in a way humans are the same way, because they are an experiment. Yes, humans are an experiment too. So the Dogman has had origins in a lab, but it's no more than an experiment in humans, because they have been equally experimented on. Interesting. So is the Dogman a mixture of human and dog DNA? Yes, in a sense. Yes, in a sense it is. But it is also so much more. The Dogman is so much more. So it's interesting, because you've got give and woman, and a woman gives birth. So, change. So it is changed. Interesting. Change. In a way, it is the Dogman. They have their own sort of governmental, or it's not quite like humans, but there is a lot of dogmen around, and I'm hearing, I'm seeing an image of like a collections around. There's different types of dogmen. There's very much like, yes, there's 4 different generally types. Like there's the more regressive, there's the sort of the one that's peaceful, wants to be around, like the angry one, the regressive one, and the more human one that's really human-like. There's a dogman that's very human, and there was another type that's sort of like a combination. So there's different, to say that the dogman is, it's almost like there's a certain element, it's very the same, but there's very much different types of dogman. You could meet one dogman that's almost, I'm hearing, sociopathic. Yes, there are dogmen that are sociopathic, and that would maybe about 20% of dogmen that have that violent element that's regressive. But there's also a dogman that's very human-like, in that it is wise, humorous even. Yes, they can be. I'm hearing there's another type of dogman that is very humorous, and it would have a discussion with people, and it's very like a very much more evolved. And I'm not saying humans are very evolved, but it's like there's almost a type of dogman that's very regressive and dangerous, like just. It's almost sociopathic. That's the word I hear, sociopathic. And then there's another type of dogman that's very different from that. It's very, like, very, almost wise. It's one that you would have it's someone that a human would have a lot in common with it. And some of them can speak, some of them cannot. But victim, and there's some that are very wise. There's a chunk of them that are very wise too, and it's sort of like you can't. There's very distinctive different types of dogman. And slave and victim, interesting. Slave and victim. Suppress, slave, victim. So I'm hearing that a lot of dogmen are in pain because of. They've become involved to the point that they're sort of aware of things. They're aware of they're almost a unique, a lot. There's a victim, some of them, because they have to sort of be a slave. They can't just show themselves. So they're a slave of being misunderstood. They're suppressed because they're misunderstood. And then there is a very violent section of dogmen that kind of makes it hard for these intelligent, there's a very hidden section of dogmen which are very very like wise and very evolved even. Yes, evolved, but it's sort of like they're trapped in their circumstance. They're trapped by their bad reputation. They're trapped by the world. They're trapped by how scary some people think they are. Like it's kind of, being a dogman is sort of like a very, yes, it did start with an experimentation, but it's kind of a very unique path to be a dogman. It's like you take on very different elements of consciousness. One is a very violent element to it, and then there's other ones that are they're not at all this way, but either way you're taking on very elements of consciousness in one species. So it's a very fascinating energy to be this, but very painful still, I'm hearing. But very conflicted. It feels very conflicted and interesting. And I have another question came up to me. How similar are dogmen to human? And I'm hearing there's a chunk of them that are very similar, and there's a chunk that are not, that are very, they've kind of, there's about 20% or so, something like that, 15 to 25, depending, 10 to 25, was that? Okay. Something like that are very regressive, and they've forgotten how to care. They've forgotten how to care. They are dangerous. There is a section of Dogman that is very dangerous, but then there's a section that is very similar to humans, and that's what I'm hearing. So how are they similar to humans? They like to have fun. Let's see what else. Yeah, they're protective of their interests. They're like there's a section that are very like humans. They like to explore, and they're quite similar to humans. And it's kind of like they band these different bands. There's like sort of regressive dark bands of them. There's positive ones. This card shot out, and Ace of Wands, and I'm hearing the word Ralph or something. There's kind of leaders that are very they have different. Another ace. So they're kind of trying to direct consciousness and their sort of band of who they are as a collective in a better direction, while knowing they can't show themselves to humanity in this reality. They have to. So it's sort of like being a Dogman is sort of a unique bind to be in, because you're kind of trapped. You can't show yourself to humanity because they're scary, and I want to ask you, like, has there been Dogmen who have? Let me just make sure the camera's working. I always check during, but there's a dog that have they ever helped humanity? Have they ever helped humanity or helped a human? Let's hear. Page of Swords, yes, but they have to be sneaky about it. They have to be defensive about it. The Page of Swords is very sneaky, and they have to be. It's worried because of how they're going to come across, and they don't want to be shot. That's a thing, because I'm hearing they don't have a lot. They don't have a lot of medical supplies. Sometimes they can find a way to get medical supplies. Sometimes, but it's not something that they have readily available to them. So they don't want to be shot, and that's something that's quite fearsome for them. But but they do some have a soft spot for humans. If they're kind of a good, safe, innocent human, some of them have a soft spot for them. But they're also aware of the dangers, like the constant dangers, because of their physicality is kind of scary. So it comes down to being defensive. And I'm hearing, have they done bad things? Okay, again, I'm going to ask the bad ones. What? I'm hearing, yes. There's been some really angry Dogmen that have. I'm hearing there's some Dogmen that are just possessed by a pure feral demonic nature, and that's a different species and energy of Dogman. These subgroups are very different, and I'm hearing that have they ever done bad things? Yes. What precipitates this sort of, shall we say, darker section of Dogman to be to do that? So what precipitates them? 10 of Wands. If they can get away with it, if a human doesn't see what's happening, but they kind of, there's some that are angry with humans. There's some that are just straight up angry with humans, and they just or if someone's foolishly kind of going in a wrong location, or let's see, what else is a thing that can provoke a Dogman attack from sort of these lesser species of Dogman? Boast. If they boast and eliminate. Yeah, if they sort of detect a certain energy with a human that's very boastful, because the sun is very boastful. If it's a certain energy about humans that pisses them off, some of them off, this sort of more regressive section of the darker sociopathic section of dogmen. So they can be kind of vindictive for no reason. Child, oh, that's kind of disturbing. Boss, if there's different idea, like there's some pretty dark ones, but then there's sort of, even within the darker bands of dogmen, there's some that are kind of like, no, we shouldn't go after children, we should more go after adults. But there's some that will, like, it all depends. But there's like, let's see what else. But yeah, just sort of a boastful energy or an arrogant energy, because they feel kind of frustrated. It's like, yeah, frustrated. Yeah, wow. And I just got this card and I was just thinking, because they can't roam the earth freely and humans can, and it pisses some of them, not all of them, but some of them, it pisses them off. Rival. So they have this anger. Some of them, not all, but there's groups of them that are kind of the lower elements of dogmen that have that kind of element of being pissed off with humans, because they can't like roam the earth freely, and they have this sort of underlying anger. But it doesn't make sense, because the humans have never really done anything to them, but they just have that anger, some of them. So some of them are vindictive towards humans for really no good reason other than they perceive humans as arrogant, and they just have this unfettered rage towards them. And the Empress, Queen of Wands, yeah, they feel that humans go everywhere, they take over everything, they have power that they don't have. Interesting. And then what's another question that one more. What does the Dogman collective, the sort of the higher end ones, wish to convey to humans? What does the strength card, find your own strength, and do not be controlled. Yeah, the Queen of Wands, do not be controlled. Connect with nature and be fearless, because that is what a dogman does. Is there and basically, yeah, do move forward, be fearless and powerful. And do not, yeah, they think humans, they like to, the higher end sort of dogman, for lack of a better, they would like to see humans embody their full power, because then, like, the government structure is the reason why they can't make an appearance and interact, because yes, the government structure, the oppression on earth, is the reason they cannot interact with humans, cannot be and talk with humans freely. So they would like to see the government, there's a huge section that are very invested, sort of the higher caliber, if you will, dogman, would like to see the government structure erased. And you do that by having the whole structure of reality change, because they're hopeful that someday the structure of reality will be so free and not constricted, so that you can interact with them, and they're not out in the cold, and they can interact. So that's what they kind of want: free, safe human interaction for them and for all. That's their message. They want free interaction for they want people to go forward in their full power and break off the shackles of the sort of unsafe government, because then they can just interact with humans. That's what they want. They want freedom, and they want freedom for humans too. So that's really interesting. Yeah. Well, thank you for watching. I've got intuitive exercises on my channel, and I do intuitive readings on my channel, and also exercises and a whole bunch of other things. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.